Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to break down how exactly I would scale a personal brand for somebody who's in a fitness niche or a personal trainer to 25K or more a month, either from scratch or with a following. The first thing I do is to niche down. A lot of you guys who are personal trainers out there are just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, and you're not differentiating yourself from anybody who is currently a personal trainer that you can find in your local gym. So you definitely have to find a specific niche so that you can target your audience specifically. And the best way to find your niche has probably been explained by this guy over here. His name's Naval Ravikant, where essentially he combines two interests or two sub-niches and puts them together. So if you're a personal trainer and you work in fitness, combining that with either like moms, or if you're a fighter, or office workers, or if you're into the dating space, combining the niche of both fitness and dating are going to help combine those two audiences so that you can appeal more directly to specific people's needs. Some examples of some niches are office workers who are struggling to stay in shape because they don't have the time to actually, go to the gym after work or before work. So you can help make programs that are really quick and efficient and help people stay in shape regardless of their career or profession. Or if you're working with fighters directly, you can make specific programs that are dedicated to actually helping boxers get ready for 12-round fights, or UFC fighters get ready for their actual first competitions. This second niche that you're combining with your first original one of being a personal trainer should be something that you're working in yourself or have had experience working with in the past. The key is to make sure that you're speaking directly to your ideal customer so that every time they watch one of your videos, they can literally think to themselves, that sounds exactly like me, so I have to listen to this guy. I already made some examples before, but if you want to tie two niches together, here are some hook templates that you can use to make the process extremely easy. So for example, if you are if I used to be X and now I'm Y because of Z, or if you're X struggling with Y, then you have to try Z, or stop doing X if you're a specific person, Y, instead do Z. So in this context, you could say I used to be lonely and single, and now I get girls all the time because I have this specific fitness program. Or if you're struggling to stay in shape with your 9-to-5 with a corporate job, then you have to try this workout program or whatever it is exactly that you're offering. You have to really get your viewers thinking, holy shit, that is me that he's talking to. So once you have figured this out, you can move on to the next step. So really take some time to figure out which two niches you want to combine so that you're able to speak to people's needs and people's desires directly, instead of just beating around the bush and saying, here are 5 tips to get more muscle, or here are 5 tips to lose more fat. Because you're saying the same things that people have heard 1,000 times and you're not providing anything different to the market. Once you've figured out your exact niche, try to draft up what your ideal customer looks like and really picture where you want to take them from where they're starting and where they're struggling to exactly where they're going to be once they start working with you. So the way that you do this is you ultimately just look at your dream result as a whole and you break it down into sub-problems. And I just did this really quickly. For most people who are trying to get into shape, their problems are not just only that they're not exercising enough, rather it could be that their diet is all out of whack, their lifestyle is whack, they're drinking too much alcohol, not sleeping, or they're just not training enough, or they're sleeping poorly, or they have trouble staying consistent. If you actually really sat down and looked at this in detail, I'm sure that you could come up with tons and tons of more problems, and even more specific ones related to your ideal customer. That is that second niche that you're tying into the fitness. Then from there, you want to create lead magnets, which are basically just little freebies of extra value that you can provide to the person that's struggling with a specific pain point that you're addressing, and give them the sauce. Don't worry about giving too much away, because ultimately, if you are able to really truly solve somebody's problem for free, they're more likely to buy from you because they're going to think that you're going to have some extra value that you can provide them if they pay you. So if you look at this 5-problem breakdown that I've made here, essentially if your niche is directed towards moms that are trying to stay fit while raising children, you can make specific diet related programs or modules inside your paid offer that works for moms who are struggling to stay fit while being at home all the time raising kids. So you can make a section about your course or your program that is dedicated to actually making high protein meals that are quick to make and that their kids will actually love. That way you've solved the problem of not only keeping them in check, but another huge one, which is them having to manage raising their kids and making food for them and all that extra stuff. When it comes to lifestyle, if you're working with office workers, you can just tell them hey, look, if you have the opportunity in the office to stand up every 15 minutes and do a specific stretch of some sort, that is also another quick implementation that speaks directly to the person who's struggling with this. If you're trying to train a bodybuilder, you won't really tell him oh yeah, when you show up at your 9-to-5, make sure that you get enough protein and eat 5 meals a day at your desk. Like, that just doesn't really make sense for a professional bodybuilder. So make sure you really hone in on who you're speaking to, and so that you can make these lead magnets that will speak directly to them. I even have an entire month's worth of content, and here's how I would go about making content on a month-to-month basis based off somebody who's posting every single day. And right here you have a basic sales funnel. I just cropped one out, but essentially up here you have your top of funnel content, your middle of funnel content, and your bottom of funnel content. And essentially your strategy and the content that you make has to cater to each of these different stages in the funnel, which will ultimately help you maximize the amount of clients that you can get from your social media efforts. So at top of funnel, if you're not familiar with this term, it's essentially something that appeals to a broad audience, and it's really hard to sell somebody with like a viral sort of video. So at the top of funnel section, I put 8 out of 30 videos. Obviously you can mix this around, it can be 6, it can be 10, but generally you want to stay around 8. And in this section, you can be making videos that are like viral trends. So if there's any specific trend that is popping off right now in your space, whether it's like an exercise that everybody's trying because it's impossible to do, or a viral recipe that somebody's trying to make that kind of fits in your niche, hop on that trend and leverage that so that you can get more exposure, and eventually you can have them go onto your page and consume more of your content. This content has to be really easy to digest and appeal to a large audience so that you can get the exposure that you need to eventually have people come into your sales funnel by, you know, going onto your page and seeing more of the in-detail content that you'll later provide. Reaction videos are another really good one, because essentially what you can do is you can kind of piggyback off of people's videos that are going viral, and then you have the opportunity to use that video to get more exposure, and then you add your own take to it by either speaking on your own experiences or what you do with your clients, or completely just debunking what the person is talking about in that video. And the third one are just text-based videos, which you can make in like 5 minutes just by looking through your B-roll folder and finding video clips of yourself either doing the thing that's in the video or even completely unrelated, and then having text to explain the points that you're talking about. I put this at the top of funnel because you can make these really easily and make broad claims that are easy to digest and quick for people to consume. And that's kind of the whole point of top of funnel content. And remember, this serves only to get more eyeballs to your profile and to you as a personal brand online. It's not made to convert anybody. You shouldn't really try to put any call to actions to ask people for money or any of that stuff, because it's not going to work at this stage. Then at middle of funnel content, I put 10 videos a month. And essentially here, you're going to want to break down some basic explanations about what you do, how you do it. You could just say, like, you could use a simple program outline and outline what your shoulder workout would be if you're somebody who's just got back home from the office and only has 15 minutes to work out. Like, these are relatively basic and easy to understand forms of content, but at the same time provide value and help you build relationships with your viewers. Another one is you could put like simple diet tips, but then this is where you kind of put that spin on combining that second niche that I mentioned earlier so that you can kind of appeal to that audience that is ultimately your ideal customer. Some additional ideas are obviously lifestyle tips and sleep enhancing tips, because they all kind of fit inside the fitness and health related space. I've also put reaction clips here, and just to clarify, I don't mean reacting to the most viral types of content unless it's very niche related. For example, something that's viral in the fitness space that appeals but directly to moms wouldn't really go as viral as like a general fitness thing. So inside your little sub niche, you have the opportunity to also speak to a more sophisticated and targeted audience with these reaction videos. And at the very bottom, I put 12 out of 30 videos for bottom of funnel content. The reason why I did this is because ultimately at the end of the day, getting viewers and followers isn't actually going to move the needle in your business or your coaching offer or your community or whatever you're selling, because views don't equal money. It's actually about getting those viewers into leads and then eventually turning them into customers for your business. So these can be like super detailed videos. Either they can be talking heads or they can be 2-second rule videos. What I mean by 2-second rule videos are essentially where you just explain something and the shot changes every couple seconds so that you can keep the viewer engaged. Don't stress too much about how exactly this should be done. I think talking head videos work perfectly fine if you're able to convey yourself clearly. But here you want to talk about very, very specific things that cater directly to your sub niche of people. So in the context of like training UFC fighters or boxers or something like that, you can make a video about how to get cardio that will get you through 12 rounds of boxing. Like, when you make a video where the hook has to do with that, the chances are the only people that are actually going to watch the whole thing through are people who are training for boxing fights, because it would apply to them, and it wouldn't really appeal to somebody who's like super obese, who's trying to just start losing weight for the first time. Because if they try to do a cardio workout for somebody who's ready to go 12 rounds, they're probably not going to make it out alive. The second type of content you can make are like client testimonials or results. This works really well because obviously social proof is king. Like, you really need to have some form of authority in your space. So if you aren't able to provide your viewers with any indication that what you're talking about is legit, then you're probably going to struggle making some sales. So if you don't have any client testimonials or results yet because you're just starting out, you can use yourself as your own before and after transformation, and you can talk about like hypotheticals of what something would look like for somebody who can do this. So a video idea could be something like, if I was in a 9-to-5 and struggling to stay fit, here's exactly how I would break down a 7-day workout program, and then you can kind of list out exactly what you would do. And the last thing I put is text-based videos again. And before you try to flame me in the comments, what I mean by these ones is where you have like essentially an entire essay inside your description or the caption of your post, where you break down something in extreme detail that only the most sophisticated of viewers would read. So if you've determined that your sub niche is dating as well as fitness, you can make a really in-depth text-based video about how having a specific body type that appeals to the opposite gender works really well, and how training in a specific way optimizes in order to get the results that the person is looking for. The captions of these text-based videos are meant to be quite long and in-depth, so that by the time the person is done reading it, they spent like 5 minutes reading your post, and they're starting to think like, damn, this guy actually has a lot to share. And so they're more likely to click onto your profile and actually drop a follow. I haven't mentioned yet, but this bottom of funnel content works perfectly for call to actions to either tell somebody to book a call with you directly or to check out your paid program. But I would just use this opportunity to get somebody to request a free lead magnet so that you can provide them even more value without even having to try to be too salesy and push for sale really early on. I think the biggest mistake a lot of people make when they're on social media is they think that they can just post a bunch of random videos, get a bunch of clout, and then all of a sudden they're going to get customers. Like, yes, of course, you're probably going to get some customers just by having some clout. So a simple lead magnet idea or call to action that you can say at the very end of the video, or in the case of a text-based post, would be just to say, hey, if you comment this specific keyword, I'll send you over a guide to help you with this specific problem. And if you call out the person directly, you're going to have an abundance of high quality leads coming into your business. Here's another reminder that viewers and followers don't mean shit without paying clients. Guys, if you get a million videos on a video of you lifting, but you haven't provided any value and you don't have any of the middle or bottom of funnel content for people to consume once they land on your page, you're not going to be making any money with your content, because you're just going to be another guy who got a million views on his video and hasn't provided anything of value to the viewers. If you take two scenarios where you have 100,000 followers or 10,000 followers, but in scenario one, your 100,000 followers are valued at $1 per follower, you've only made, or the value of your followers is only $100,000 together. But if you have 10,000 targeted followers and they're valued at $50 per follower, you now have $500,000 worth of revenue or potential clients, right? So the thing is, you don't need to be as famous as you think, but if you're speaking to the right people, you're able to provide them more value and actually make more money in the long run by doing this. So the tool I would use to do this is called ManyChat. Basically what it is an automation tool which will allow you to actually capture leads and deliver lead magnets completely hands-off and like without you having to do anything. And if you set it up correctly, you can further nurture these leads and follow up with them, providing them even more value and prompting them to take action either by booking a call with you or buying your paid product. And the way that you do this is by setting up triggers based off certain keywords that you have set up on the back end. So if you are making a guide on how to get shredded after work, so if you set up this trigger and use a call to action like comment the word after hours, and I'll send you a 30-minute workout program that you can use right after your 9-to-5, and it includes like a warm-up portion and an actual workout that follows, you're going to get a ton of people who are suffering with this problem of being stuck at their 9-to-5 and not having time to work out to actually comment this word so that you can deliver them this lead magnet and provide them even more value. Once the trigger is in place, you send them an automatic DM, they're able to collect the lead magnet, and from there, you can either collect their email in exchange and build up a database full of potential clients so that you can eventually nurture and set up an email targeting campaign so that you can continue to keep up with these people and follow up with them and try to push them to actually become a client. But honestly, if I was working in the fitness space, I would probably just keep things in Instagram DMs. It can feel a little bit more personal, and since fitness is a little bit more of a casual, let's say, industry, you can really have a lot of success by just keeping up with people in the DMs. And no, you don't have to do this manually. Like I said, if you set it up correctly, you're going to be able to have this done completely for you on autopilot. A quick workflow of how this would look is essentially once somebody gets the lead magnet, you could follow up with them automatically the day after and say, hey, did you try this workout program? How did it go? Whatever questions you want to ask, you can prompt them to answer with buttons. And if their answer is positive and they go down that path, you can slowly start to prompt them to actually take the next step in your sales funnel, which is either booking a discovery call with you if you do one-to-one sessions, or you can tell them about your paid offer where you have like a full guide that teaches them how to do the whole diet part of it, the lifestyle, the sleep, the consistency, and the training, depending on what your lead magnet is. So if you're offering something that's training related, you can tell them that your actual paid offer has all the other parts to it so that they're going to be able to back that training up with all the other things that they need in order to have the best results. Like I just mentioned, once you have the lead magnet set up, you can soft sell your final offer after. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's one-to-one, PDFs, or a video program. If I was starting out, I would start with something that's super low effort to put together just to get some sales in the door. And I would make a PDF program which solves all the different sub-problems that will help your ideal customer get to their solution when they use your product or service. Then, if you want at a later stage, because this takes a little bit more time, you could make a video program, which is definitely a lot more consumer friendly because people can visually see you doing the motions or cooking the meal that you're talking about, or just you speaking directly to the camera, explaining different parts and different modules offer. And of course, if you offer one-to-one training either in person or online, you can definitely plug that as well. So now that we've found your sub niche, we know exactly how to speak to your ideal customer, and we've even found all the small problems that are preventing them from getting to their desired result, which is essentially what you're providing in your paid offer. And we've even broken down an entire framework for what a month's worth of content could look like for you to get the exposure that you need and to actually convert your viewers into customers for your business. If you found this video helpful, I made a free 7-day course which essentially breaks down day by day all the little steps that you need to take so that you can get this personal brand up and running in a week, and so that you can get your first paying customers as soon as possible. If you click the first link in the description, it'll take you there. Just sign up and you'll get started immediately. And if you want to work with me directly, the second link in the description will be to book a call with me, and we can get to know each other, understand your offer and your goals, and so we can create an entire personal brand strategy that'll help you scale your personal training business to $25,000 a month and up. And if you found this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.